Isn't that just a happy sound? I love that song. Do you guys remember that? So Squeeze was huge in the 80s and I guess early 90s. Maybe even before the 80s. They've been around a long time. Jules Holland and those guys. That song is called Hourglass. And it was big in 89, I think, that whole album. That's the one that had Hourglass was on there, and there was like three really commercially successful songs. Squeeze have always been like so talented. They've sort of had a core group, Jules Holland and oh gosh, I'm trying to think of who these guys were now. But then some of the lead singers kind of came and went. Paul Carrick sang for them for a bit. Paul Young sang for them for a little bit. They just always had a great sound, and they're super talented. They still get together. You know, they're sort of one of those bands that never officially quit. Hey, welcome to Take an Early Lunch, episode 2. I'm excited for this one. So we have a few additions to the studio, if you guys wanted to see. Shorzy on a Stick, right there. Shorzy on a Stick was in use this weekend at the open house with me and Paul Lamoureux, because we had 2 hockey players there. So Shorzy showed up, and then Shorzy's over here too. You see the little, I got a little backlighting going on. I that's actually, you're supposed to do that. Kind of bring a little character to the thing, a little 3-dimensionalness. I had to darken the exposure on the camera a bit because the "We're Open" sign, I have a layer of film over it and it's still glaring. I have to maybe put another layer. I'm going to call in a professional. Janine DeBerry's son does window tinting. I may have to get him to come out and do something that's like we can find that's not too dark where you can't read the letters or see the colors, because it's actually 3 different colors, but dark enough that the camera doesn't pick that glare up, because it is pretty bright. So anyway, oh, and there's one more thing. You can't, over there, you can barely see it. Another addition to the collectible vinyl. They were too crowded up above me, so I have the 3 originals that I had: Rick Elias, Taylor Acorn, and That Thing You Do soundtrack, which Rick Elias was the producer of. But I bought Mac Sinise, Gary Sinise's boy Mac, who passed away of cancer last year, was a talented musician. He has a couple of albums out that his dad released posthumously called Resurrection and Revival, and they're great instrumentals. And so I bought one. It helps the Gary Sinise Foundation, not the Gary Sinise Foundation. So I have that over there. I never opened these. I have downloaded this stuff, so I play it. But collectible vinyl is just that. It's collectible vinyl. So there you go. Hey, it's Monday, February 10th. And the Eagles are world champions once again. Thank you. I was born in Philly, and I grew up in the surrounding area, and we are long suffering. We suffered a long time with some bad teams. You know, you go back to the Mike McCormick era and those, other guys. And before Dick Vermeil, really, we were just consistently bad. And now since Vermeil, we really have been really good. I mean, we had a couple down years, but we've consistently been good. And I'll tell you something else. We have one of the best owners in football. Jeff Lurie wants to win, and he keeps his hands off, and he lets people do their jobs, and he wants to win. And he has been a great owner since he took over from Norman Brayman, who was a horrible owner. Norman Brayman was just in it, he wanted to own a team, and he wanted to make the money that a team makes. Jeffrey Lurie bought the team in 1994, and it's been amazing ever since. So that's our second Super Bowl championship now in 7 years. We won our very first one in 2018, and that was a nail biter. Went down to the last play, and Brandon Graham goes in there and gets that strip sack from Tom Brady, and we beat the Patriots. And that's the one that had Philly, that trick play, gadget play, and that was the end of a magical season. And it was very special winning that first one. I will tell you that I cried a little bit when it was over, because I kept thinking about my friends' dads. At that point, 7 years ago, I was 54. 4. And so I was older, but I wasn't so old that I was like, I'm on my deathbed. I may never see an Eagles Super Bowl win. I kept thinking of my uncles and my dad and my friends' dads who grew up, Stevie Van Buren and Norm Van Brocklin and Chuck Bednarik and those guys, and they were just, we've never been. We just got so bad from the 60s and through the mid 70s, and those guys just hung in there, and they were, our predecessors were long suffering fans. Last night, it felt like a foregone conclusion. I really felt the Eagles were going to win. I felt like Kansas City's a good team, but they just weren't going to beat. They just weren't going to stop us. This is a machine, and that defense, my goodness. I mean, listen. Like the Chiefs or not, there's no reason not to like the Chiefs. I know there's the whole ref thing, and I've seen some questionable calls, and Mahomes has been the recipient of them. But you can't hate them; they're not jerks, right? They're nice guys, and you got to love Andy Reid, the old walrus guy, And what's that commercial he does? I think is funny. Fumblerooski, that one. Andy can poke fun at himself, and that's always a good trait, I think. It's not like I hate the Chiefs, but I just went into the game last night thinking I fully expect a 2-touchdown margin, a 2-score margin. I figured we'd win by 10. They weren't in the game. If you woke up this morning, you didn't watch the game, and you saw the score, and it's 40-22. You're like, wow, the Chiefs hung in there. No, they didn't. Those were. Like, I don't care what happens. Let's just let them eat the clock up, because there is no mathematical way to score that many points. Because it was like with 4 minutes left, it was 40-7, I think, 40-6, and so they scored twice in the last 4 minutes. But it's just mathematically not possible to get the ball back and score enough times to make it a game. So we really just, the Eagles kind of like, we stood on the sidelines and watched them go score. But it was a great feeling to dominate the dynasty. So our 2 Super Bowl victories have come at the expense of football dynasties. We beat the Patriots at the end of Tom Brady's run, and there was still plenty left in Tom Brady's tank because he won another Super Bowl in Tampa after that. But so it's not like we beat an old decrepit Tom Brady. He was still at the top of his game. And then last night we beat. How old is Mahomes? 28? It's not like he's at the end of his rope either. That our defense was just, poor Patrick Mahomes was seeing green jerseys in his sleep last night. And they couldn't do anything. And my question has always been, and my friends will know this, I've been tough on Jalen Hurts. I've not been sold on him as an elite quarterback. To me, I'm not going to get into it. This isn't a football discussion, but he proved me wrong last night. He has definitely been working on his game. My fear has always been that if anybody ever could shut down Saquon Barkley, which has not happened this year until last night, what are we going to do? Are we going to have Jalen Hurts beat somebody with his arm? And I didn't think that was possible. The Pittsburgh game showed otherwise. He really started lighting it up in Pittsburgh, and then last night, he's just dropping dimes, and I didn't see one pass last night that his receivers had to actually make big adjustments. And that's always been kind of the knock, I thought, in my mind, is that he would throw the ball, and these receivers would have to go up and make circus catches for them. And, to me, you do that once in a while, but a really good quarterback is going to hit his receiver at a point where they're not going to have to make adjustments, and it's just a natural thing to catch the ball. Well, last night, that thing was like remote controlled. So that was a really good, and I'll tell you who else I felt really good for last night, Jake Elliott. Jake Elliott didn't miss a field goal or a point after, hit one from 48. No, they moved it. It was from 50 because there was a penalty. Jake's he's been our guy for years, and his leg never went away. He just lost his accuracy all this season. He was terrible, but it wasn't like he was falling short. He was just missing wide, clanking him off the post, but he got back, he got back in his head last night. So Anyway, Super Bowl. That's what we're going to be talking about today. But we're going to talk about something different. This isn't a sports show. I want to get everybody in on it. So here's my two questions. If you guys want to comment, go ahead and comment. What's your favorite Super Bowl snack food or any kind of gathering? But there seems like there's something special about Super Bowl. Now, I watched the game alone last night. I'm not a big go out and revel. For one thing, I know myself, and I'm a little worried that if the Eagles start doing badly and somebody gets mouthy about it, there might be a mugshot of Craig the next morning, and I don't want that to happen. And then the other thing is, I just don't like that. I mean, if I want to go out with friends, if a bunch of buddies of mine, call and say, hey, let's go watch a game, I'm all in. I was going to say if I was dating, but what's that? If I'm going out with socially and we're going to watch the game, I'm all in. It's a great time, right? But if you kind of have a few people with you, I am not going to go to some place in Lynchburg by myself and sit there and watch the Eagles win and have somebody say something about Philly, and then it's on, right? And because I'll be a smart aleck right back at them, and then if it escalates, it escalates. That sounds like I'm out looking for a fight. I'm not. But I'm just saying, I'm not gonna. Hey, it's time for us to leave. They're talking bad about Philadelphia. Like, no, it's my hometown. Everybody hates. Nobody, they don't talk bad about somebody's hometown, anybody's hometown, right? Just don't do that. So anyway, what are your favorite snack foods? Now, so I stayed home, watched the game. I did nothing special. I'm down, 72 pounds, and I've kept it off now for going on 4 years, and I have no intentions of going back. So, I limit that stuff. I break out once in a while. You just can't live on, zero carbs or minimal carbs forever, not just from a health standpoint, but from a taste standpoint. I mean, if you haven't eaten a potato chip in 6 months, a potato chip's not going to kill you. So I think the only thing I did last night, I got chips and dip, just some hell of a good, because I didn't feel like making it. I like to make my own dip, actually, but I just didn't feel like it. And I had some chips, and then I did have ice cream. Ice cream is my weakness, I will admit. And I'll also tell you that I have lactose intolerance. So not severely, but, So when I eat ice cream, it's a sacrifice. See how I reasoned that? So that's all I did. I really didn't go crazy. I don't want to. I'm not going to. I make wings anytime. So wings isn't like a Super Bowl food to me. What are you Super Bowl foods? What do you guys like? What do you have? Who brought the coolest, surprise to your party? Or who brought the grossest thing? For one thing, I will not eat guacamole. I won't eat avocados. I don't like the taste of them. I don't like the texture. And also, avocado comes from a Mayan word for testicles. So enjoy that guacamole. And that's really true. I learned that. So every morning when I wake up, try to read a chapter of the Bible, and I try to read one page of the dictionary. And I write down new words that I learned. Obviously, I knew the word avocado, but I didn't know the root word of avocado is a Mayan word for testicle. So, if you want to eat guacamole, you're welcome to it. Here's the weirdest thing I've ever seen brought to a get-together. When I lived in Tennessee, used to go to a Bible study on Wednesday nights, a small group, right? Small groups. That's what they call it, small groups. And everybody brought food. And, I'd bring, I'm Italian, right? I brought spitzad one time with real veal, not just, somebody goes and gets roast or steak and makes it just sort of a substitute. Spitzad you use veal for it. So I actually went and got veal and made it. And, we would bring stuff. People were good cooks. One lady brought shrimp and grits. I'd never had that before. Whew, man, Lord Jesus have mercy. But here's something. This is Southern, apparently, because I've never seen this back home. But this lady explained to me that this is a Southern thing. You take 2 bricks or 3 bricks of Philadelphia cream cheese, and you pour barbecue sauce on it, and you dip that you dip Triscuits in that. When I tell you, it's as bad as it sounds. It's as bad as it sounds. Those are two flavors I would not consider go good together. Okay? Remember Andy Griffith used to say everything's better when it sits on a Ritz? Not everything. Okay? Not everything. Not Philadelphia cream cheese covered in barbecue sauce. Cold barbecue sauce. Like, you don't heat this. You don't melt the cream cheese in. You take and you unpack bricks of Philadelphia cream cheese. And you don't get the whipped stuff. You get the bricks. You put them on a plate and you pour some Sweet Baby Ray's over it. And it's a tremendous waste of both of those things because Philadelphia cream cheese is great on the right stuff. Sweet Baby Ray's is the only barbecue sauce I use, but it doesn't belong on Philadelphia cream cheese. It belongs on wings. It belongs on brisket. All right? It belongs on chicken breasts. It doesn't belong on Philadelphia cream cheese. That was the weirdest thing anybody's ever brought to a party I was ever part of. So what about you guys? What'd you guys have? What'd you do? Who brought what? Go ahead and comment if you want to. I'm going to switch back and forth, kind of watch these comments and see what I get. And we're also live on YouTube, so don't forget that. And I'm kind of checking between both. And I'm still working on, behind me is dialed in and down pat, but I'm working on a control center here. So bear with me because I got to check things on my phone. Because that's the only way I can monitor right now. What did you guys think of the halftime show? So here's my thing on the halftime show. Two things. Number one, that was a Buick GNX. That wasn't just a Grand National. That was a GNX, which is one level above. They only made it 1 year. And Kendrick Lamar was standing on the hood. Now, I did notice some tape on that, and my buddy Johnny said it was a prop. I don't know. I don't know if it was a prop. It might have been real, but I'm thinking maybe they either put some kind of covering on the hood or the owner of that car said, you're going to stand on the hood of my car? You put a different hood on that car. And that's what the tape was, so that he knew where to stand. I don't know, but that was I couldn't, that was so weird to me. Like, why that car? Why a Buick Grand National? Unless Kendrick Lamar really likes GNXs, which God bless. The other thing was, what the heck was that? Like, I don't mean like, okay, look, I know it's all, I hate rap music. I don't expect y'all to listen to my stuff every year. So I get it. We have to appeal to different, demographics, but I didn't understand that. And at the end of it, he tells you to turn off your TV. I'm pretty sure the NFL didn't authorize that. And Samuel L. Jackson dressed as Uncle Sam, and I guess, honestly, I couldn't understand it. And it wasn't just, and that's not me being, I don't understand rap lyrics. I couldn't hear it well. It was very weird. Just the way it came over TV. It was kind of, blurred together. And you're not going to get good sound at a Super Bowl. You're just not. But I ended up turning the sound off and putting my closed caption on, so at least I could see. That's funny too, because that's somebody's typing that. Or I guess AI might be doing it now, and they can't figure it out either. They're, it's coming up with like, what? But I didn't really enjoy it. It's gonna be blank. I'm just gonna be frank. It's not because it's rap. I'm not a rap fan. I'm just not. I don't have to be. That doesn't mean I'm a bad guy. It just means I don't like that style of music. But that wasn't it. It was something. The whole performance was just like, huh? What? If you want to appeal to a huge demographic, why don't you have Earth, Wind, and Fire, right? You get everybody there, right? Because unless you're an idiot, who doesn't like Earth, Wind, and Fire? I mean, right? So, and you're going to appeal to Black Americans. You're going to appeal to white Americans that can dance. You're going to, you're going to appeal to old people. You're going to appeal to young. How cool would it be to have Earth, Wind, and Fire as the halftime show and get a whole generation of people that never heard Earth, Wind, and Fire before listening to Earth, Wind, and Fire? They're still cool. Like, it's not like you'd have like a doo-wop band doing the halftime show, right? Something that's outdated, that's not it. It's they probably haven't had a new record out in a long time, but gosh, they're still great. I have a buddy of mine that goes and sees them wherever they are, and they still are as good as ever. So halftime show was a bit weird, and I'm honestly, halftime shows are a joke. I mean, what's the last great one? I was thinking the last time I saw a halftime show that really just was like, this is tremendous. Prince was good. I'm not a Prince fan, never was, but have to admit his show was great. U2 was amazing. U2 was amazing, and it was, it had that tribute to the 9/11 victims, and he did they did Where the Streets Have No Name, and that was the backdrop came out with all the names of the victims of 9/11. And at one point, I remember this because I was watching this at Rick and Linda's house. Rick and Elias were still alive, and the best Super Bowls I've ever watched were at their house because Linda's dad was a NFL coach for years and years and years and years, legendary. And those two are so knowledgeable. Linda and Rick both know more football than football people. So it was fun to watch the game with them, but it's also because of Rick's music background. It was always fun to watch the halftime with Rick. And at one point, he pointed out to me, he said, Bono's earpiece fell out. And instead of making a stink about it and pointing and making all these, my earpiece fell out and singing off key, he looked at his bandmates, made sure they knew his earpiece fell out, and they just worked it out. And he never missed a beat. And it was so professional, and it was done so well. I had a hard time with them booing Taylor Swift. Not booing, but when she appeared on the Jumbotron with whoever that was next to her, and they booed, take the camera off, producer. And it wasn't the TV producer. That was the stadium people. That was the in-stadium cam because it was up on the screen. I am not a Taylor Swift fan. Now, I'm not going to defend her. But she's earned, to me, she gets booed by people. It's earned for some people. It was a very pro-Trump house. That's apparent. When the president came on, place went crazy. She's made some statements about Trump that people don't like. I get that. But you know what? It's a football game. It's not an election. She's a lady. And I'm sorry, I'm old-fashioned, but women get a little bit special treatment as far as I'm concerned. You be nice. Try to be nice. So if they boo, okay, they boo. It's Taylor Swift. Take the camera off of her. They were booing because she had her on that screen, and they just held. It was awkward. I felt bad for her. Like, she's looking over like, all right, and then she realizes they're booing her, and she doesn't know what to do, and God bless her, she smiled at it. But listen, I don't care how much billions you've made. Nobody wants to get booed. It's just, I'm nicer than that. I'm not that nice, but I'm nicer than that. They just should have taken the camera off of her. So, but that's the fault of whoever was working the camera inside. The other thing was commercials. Here's my take on the commercials. I didn't like the Seal commercial. It gave me the creeps. I thought it was clever having a seal that looks like Seal singing, but there was something weird about that. Like Terminator, blow up the Terminator, and he reforms back into the Terminator. Like the Terminator had come, and he was a seal, and Schwarzenegger blew him up, and all the pieces came back together, and it was morphing from a seal to Seal the singer, and that's where you guys follow me? It was weird. Like, that was sort of cyborg-ish, right? Like some like Island of Dr. Moreau. Oh, we've taken the real Seal singer and transplanted his head on a seal because we thought that would be funny, like Seal Squared. That creeped me out. The flesh head cowboy hat kid, what was the point of that? I mean, it was a Tubi commercial, but that was weird too. The Dunkin' commercial was hit it out of the ballpark because I despise Starbucks. I despise all high-end coffee. I don't understand it. It's still just coffee. There's a place that just opened up here in Lynchburg, 7 Brew, and the cars were like, no kidding, 3 lines, and they're probably 10 deep. There's probably 30 cars in line. Listen, I don't care if not only this is the coffee, hey, this is the coffee that Jesus drinks, but by the way, he's inside drinking some now. That's the only reason I'd stay in line for a cup of coffee. There's no coffee in the world that to me is worth lining up for. To me, coffee has become a social event, and I'm just not that into it. I know I post about coffee every day, but that's strategic. I drink 1 cup. I know y'all going to be shocked about that. It's a big cup. It's a big Vice Grip Garage tumbler. I think it's 12 ounces. No, it's 16. And but that's it. The rest of the day, I drink water or iced tea. I'm a big tea drinker, hot and cold, but mostly cold. I love the Dunkin' commercial because it was sort of that anti-snobbery sort of thing. And I loved, and somebody helped me with this because I couldn't remember who the commercial was. I think it was Miller Lite, the sloths. Oh, that was hysterical. The sloths in human situations, like the one sloth tries to get out of an automatic door and it shut before he got through it because he's moving slow and his face like presses against it. The sloth commercial to me was the winner. The Harrison Ford Jeep commercial was too long and too preachy. Don't preach at me. Don't tell me it's my choice. And freedom isn't about having your choice. Like, okay, it's the Super Bowl, dude. Just get your wrinkly old butt into your electric Jeep and drive off. Okay, I don't care. I don't want to hear about what my choices and my cars and my last name's Ford. That was kind of clever. Take a shot at Ford, in a Jeep commercial. But this whole business of and the public service announcements with Snoop Dogg and Tom Brady and like hate and I hate you. And come on, man, it's the Super Bowl. You think you're going to change society with commercials in the Super Bowl? People are half drunk by the time the halftime commercials come on. That nobody cares. Nobody was paying attention to your social messages, and I'm so sick of the NFL being, having this big soapbox. Like it's just, and they have been less tolerant of bad behavior. I will say the NFL has cleaned up its act about, because it used to be like every week somebody's ending up in the police blotter, usually for beating their girlfriend. But that stuff is really, the NFL, I would say, has tightened the reins internally. They've made, they've told the players, you guys got to uphold a better standard. And I think they've basically done a good job with that. I will say this, the number of players expressing their faith just doesn't, it's a great thing. Like it's sort of like there's sort of a revival or an outpouring or something going on in the league because it's a lot of guys last night were expressing their faith and being serious about it. You can tell they're not just giving us the blanket like, I thank God. It was, they were personalizing it. So, we got a couple more minutes. This is typically a 30-minute thing, but I can go as long as I want. It's my show. What was your guys' favorite commercials? Type it in the comments. That's the point of this. We'll comment section. You guys can, and they'll be there for posterity. What did you guys think of the commercials? Oh, now I'm watching myself. That's weird. Somebody commented. Let me see if I can find it. Put Jalen. Oh, I do. I need Jalen on a stick. Dave Lewis coming through with a good idea. Somebody. I will get a picture of Jalen because I had that made. Staples did that for me, and it's just a picture they blew up, and then they put it on foam. It's on a foam board. I have this one here. It's complete, and then I had that one that I cut around it with an X-Acto. We need Jalen on a stick, so we're going to have that. I think we need Jalen on a stick, and I need a hockey player for sure. Well, I got Shorzy, but he's fictional. I need to get like a real one, like maybe Gretzky or Bernie Perrant. That'd be cool. Like get a Bernie on a stick. Favorite food that you guys had? Weirdest food anybody's ever brought to one of your parties or a party you went to? Your favorite commercial from last night? And here's the very end. We're going to wrap up. Big announcement. Okay, so my friends in Lynchburg. Last week I made an announcement, not on this show, but I did a thing. Any realtors that send me a referral, whoever sent me the most, their office would get a party. I'd come and cook, and if the Eagles won, I'd do cheesesteaks. If the Chiefs won, I would do brisket. Well, nobody got me anything except Lindsay. Lindsay Hammond is getting Tony Luke's. You guys, Tony Luke. Now, who's Tony Luke? My Philly friends know who Tony Luke is. But my other friends, they're like, I know that name. See, if you ever saw the movie Invincible, Tony's been in a bunch of movies, but this is what most people know him from. When they had the open tryouts. So Invincible was Mark Wahlberg, and it was based on Vince Papale, who was a friend of my uncle's. And Vince is such a good guy. And just when I was growing up, and that story happened while I was a kid, and wow, somebody walked on and made the Eagles. They had the open tryout scene, and Tony Luke was the heavy guy with the green cape. I'm going to be an Eagle, baby. So Tony is a restaurateur. He's owned restaurants in Philly, and his family has. And so he's got cheesesteaks that you can mail order anywhere in the country, right? So, Lindsay, we actually have we just went under contract for one on Thursday. And then we've got two more we think are coming in here in the next couple of days. So Lindsay and her family are going to enjoy Tony Luke's cheesesteaks. I'm going to have those shipped today probably. They'll be there. Well, with the snow, who knows? But Lindsay, I already told her. She knows. It's not a surprise. Look for those soon. That's all I can tell you. Now, Lynchburg folks, I'm not even going to make this a contest anymore because it's just tough. I can't make it's not like I can make you guys go find stuff to send me, right? And I love to cook and I love to have a party. So here's what we're going to do. Because my Eagles won, I'm going to celebrate and I'm going to have everybody here. And you're all invited. We're going to do cheesesteaks in the parking lot. We'll come up with a date and wait till the weather gets warmer. But I got the Blackstone, right? The big monster 60-inch Blackstone. I'm going to bring it here to my parking lot. Those of you who've been to my building know the back parking lot is perfect. There's no through traffic. We're going to do it on a Friday afternoon and bring the Blackstone. And I'll, at some point before that, I'll go home and get real Amoroso's rolls so they really taste like the real thing. And I'm going to make Philly cheesesteaks. Make them right here. And I'm just going to throw it open. And we'll just do an RSVP and say the first 20, 25 people that sign up or just say, hey, yeah, I'm coming, they'll come. And there'll be no charge. I'm going to pay for that. It's just going to be my branch celebrates the Eagles' victory. So I'll tell you, I'm super happy about it. I really am. I'm happy that the Eagles have just sort of shed that NFL doormat reputation. And there's at least, you look at that team, they're pretty young. Their contracts are in place for at least 3 years, most of them. There's another Super Bowl there. There's another Super Bowl. It's tough to go back to second year. I worry about Barkley. He ran for over 2,000 yards in the regular season, 2,500 yards total, including the postseason. Those legs got to be tired. So I'm hoping he gets a good, obviously if you go to the Super Bowl, your season is longer than everybody else's, except for the team you played. So they have a shorter offseason. But I'm hoping that he gets some rest and he comes back fresh in the fall, and we're ready to rock and roll again. It's July. Training camp will be here before you know it. I'm also happy for my Aunt Betty. So my Aunt Betty is 98, loves the Birds, loves all Philly sports, loves everything Philadelphia, and loves a good parade. She's a Mummers fanatic. Loves the Mummers, loves string bands. We'll go see the string bands in the summertime because a lot of them will play out. They don't get all dressed up. They just play as a band. And Aunt Betty loves string bands, and I'm so happy for her. Her and my cousin Christine, her daughter, did a little video on Channel 6's Facebook page. I guess they were inviting people to do, Go Eagles videos. And so there's Aunt Betty and Chrissy, and they were God bless my Aunt Betty. 98, sharp as a tack. All right, you guys, this has been Take an Early Lunch. I hope we broke up your morning. I cleverly came up with that. I guess I just realized it. Monday morning is the longest morning of the work week. Maybe not by minutes because it's the same length as all the others, but gosh, it just seems like it drags on, right? Monday is just that back to work day, and that waiting for lunch to get here seems like it drags on. Hope I made that 30-minute sneak attack into lunchtime a little bit more fun. Watch this again throughout the day. Comment. Keep the comments going. Let's see what crazy food did somebody bring? What great food did somebody have? What commercials did you love? And Lynchburg friends, get ready. We're going to have a Philly cheesesteak cookout here at my office when the weather warms up. Probably looking at, April, somewhere around there. But we'll do it. All right, you guys, have a great week. Call me if you need me, and let's go get some EAGLES, Eagles, or as the mayor of Philadelphia says, ELGSES, Eagles. See you guys.